ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the STUDS podcast. We are here today with a very, very, very special guest. But before I introduce him, let's introduce the team. We got Louie. Louie, how you doing, man?
I just told you, Mike. I just woke up.
Nice. Well, you didn't tell the whole crowd. So now
you weren't recording
everyone.
before. All right.
No, I wasn't recording before. So Louie just woke up. He was playing Xbox till 5 o'clock last night.
What a trooper.
So he's doing well. He's very blurry today. Mr. Keith, how you doing, man?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing all right. Same as always, just taking everything one day at a time like everybody else. How are you doing?
Same, man. I'm just doing amazing, loving life. Today we have a very special guest here, a friend of mine, and Keats. We used to train in martial arts together. This is Ray Berlinsky, strength and conditioning coach and rehab specialist at Academy Physical Therapy. Ray, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm enjoying the weather today. It's beautiful outside.
Definitely is. Definitely is. How's everything been going during the quarantine?
Yeah, so I was quarantined probably about 6 weeks ago. So I limited social interaction except for with my fiance.
Yeah.
Yep.
God bless you.
But yeah, I've just been doing some work from home, some online physical therapy, online personal training. Bought a drum set. That's actually been pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Drum set. Louie's got a piano.
Yeah, we can
See
do
that, man. Back together.
It could be a cover band, yeah.
Oh yeah. Remember garage? I remember when I used to go to not your house. Who was it? It was Louie's house.
Yeah.
A couple times I played garage band. I was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Rock. Or was it Rock Band?
I think it was rock
Oh yeah,
band.
rock.
I had both. Do they still make those games?
I don't know actually.
They might.
I don't
Game
think
was
so.
awesome. That's how the
Chelsea would know. She would know.
probably. Yeah, probably does. Probably does. All right, let's get into it. I'll ask my first question for you, and that is, what influenced you to get into the field of physical therapy? Was it a past experience, something you wanted to try? What was it?
Yeah, so as you know, it was a little bit of a career change for me. So I was pretty much exploring a bunch of different options when I first stopped teaching martial arts, which was, I guess, like 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I looked at physical therapy. I looked at being a personal trainer. I looked at being a gym teacher for a little bit too.
Yep.
And then I tried to see like if I could get a job that had to do with the different fields I was working at. And I got a job at University Orthopedics working as a rehab aide. So basically I just keep the place clean, kind of set up equipment for patients, kind of like the middle guy. And that was kind of my first exposure to what's called outpatient physical therapy. And I just liked that environment. It was kind of like a gym. People were coming in, working out, everyone's on different levels. So it was pretty much the same as that. Yeah. And so with that experience, I decided to go back to school. I went to New England Tech for PTA, physical therapist assistant.
How long was that for?
Dude,
Yeah.
Tigers.
That's right. How long was that for? How long is that schooling?
They have a 18 to 24 month program for a bunch of different stuff.
Wow.
Louis,
So
what did you go for?
Oh, I went to school for computer engineering.
Oh, cool. That place that's pretty legit on the East Greenwich campus.
Real deal stuff. Yeah, it's a beautiful campus.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little jealous though, because it didn't look like that when I went there.
Did they have the gym when you were there?
No, negative.
Oh yeah, I worked at the gym, so I got pretty good experience there.
Oh man. No, we just there was a lot of construction happening. That's about it.
That's tough.
All right, yeah, that's interesting. Do you feel like is it not rushed, but is it a lot of work all up front? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Is it not normally like a 4-year field or a little bit longer than that?
So PTA career is pretty much a 2 to 3 year program, depending on what school you go to. to be a full physical therapist, it's now a doctorate program, so it's a lot
really?
longer.
Wow.
They're working on doing something with the PTA degree to make that bridge the gap a little less for people that maybe want to go from PTA to PT.
Is that something that you want to potentially do in the future, or do you want to stick with where you're at right now?
I'll probably stick with where I'm at. A lot of the stuff that I'm into researching or learning about, or just the career path that I see myself going for in the future, I won't necessarily need to be a PT. Definitely remaining a rehab specialist of some kind for sure.
I'll dive into the nitty gritty a little bit.
right.
So what's a recommended stretch you would have before doing any kind of physical activity? Because for me personally, I hate stretching and I always pull something. So what's a recommended stretch that you have?
Yeah, so a lot of stretching techniques that kind of float out there. I don't look at that a bunch for my own like rehab or even for my personal training clients. A lot of the stuff that I've been reading about nowadays is pretty much static stretching is kind of gone out the window.
Yeah.
You need to be more dynamic. I use the term that I get from the people that I listen to called movement prep, which is kind of the more fancy way of saying warm up. Because you don't just, if you think about like right now, we're just sitting, and then if we get up to go work out and we just do like, the standing hamstring stretch, all we're really doing is yanking on stuff. We're not actually getting it ready for a task. So there's been some articles I've read that static stretching ends up like increasing risk of injury a little bit.
Agreed.
Where I could definitely see where that would play a role. But yeah, so like a recommended stretch, I would say it should be something a little more dynamic, not so much like the traditional static stretches that you see people do. Yeah.
Do you see more of an importance now to or would you say it's more? I think it goes hand in hand. Like you should do all of it, but foam rolling. Like, do you see that as more of the important prehab? I call it prehab. I read that out of a Tim Ferriss book. But like, do you have you ever read him? Do you ever read him, Tim Ferriss?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love that guy.
Tim Ferriss is the man.
Listen to his podcast, everything. But anyway, like, do you find that more of an important way to prepare, or is that just as the same as static?
It really depends on who you're talking to about this topic.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, foam rolling is something that's not bad for you. But I think that is something that we're not applying enough tensile load that it would probably release any, adhesions or the stuff that people are using it for. Does it make us feel good? Does it get us a little more mobile? Yeah, sure. It definitely plays a role, and if I have a client that says, hey, I want to do some foam rolling before our session, maybe just because I don't believe in it doesn't mean that doesn't happen, because ultimate goal is if someone's coming to me for rehab or fitness, to get them to be on my side, sometimes you just got to let some little stuff go. Foam rolling is not bad for you. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't think it does as much as we think it does.
Yeah, I've always, like, when I work out, like, it's always foam roll, then it's workout, it's do the workout, then it's stretch, because I always understood it's better to stretch when you're warmed up, or at least do a little warm up, then do the full workout of once your body's going. That's
basically. Again, I don't do a bunch of static stretching, but that's basically the point from earlier is, if you are going to do foam rolling or static stretching, at least to make sure it's after you've done the work.
Oh, so even the foam rolling is after. Oh, wow. See, I never knew that.
Yeah. Foam rolling is what's referred to in my career field as a modality. So it's an existential thing. It's not something that we should rely on to feel good. Because if you have to spend 10 minutes doing some foam rolling or some stretching, chances are you're not moderating your volume in your sessions. maybe you went too hard, a bunch of days in a row. So you want to spend a short period of time getting ramped up to work out. Most of your time should be spent in the training department, from my perspective anyway. But yeah, foam rolling, you could toss wherever. I think it probably helps the most at the end.
Really? That's interesting. I never knew. Wow. That's interesting. Keith, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So, you had talked prior to this about having, your sessions obviously with your clients be online like this. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you about like how is that all like this transition now from being able to meet face to face to now doing these sessions online? How has that affected you? Are you doing like any kind of like just like go over like a class plan or like a workout routine with these people, or how is that all working out for you?
For sure. Yeah. The online experience has been different, definitely. It's something that I haven't really done before. But so basically, the clients that are coming to me for either rehab or fitness, they have a program that I email to them, and it's individualized towards their needs or their goals. Or if someone's dealing with a specific injury, it's geared towards that. So I kind of right now I'm set. Well, I shouldn't say right now. In person or online, they're getting a program from me after an assessment. So we meet the first time today, and we kind of run through some stuff in person or video chat like this.
Right.
And then I create the program.
Okay.
I am doing like a free online workout thing where that was kind of a little more arbitrary. I just kind of put together some principles of strength training that I think are important, and try to package that in a way that would be easy to recreate at home.
Right.
But most of the time it's individualized.
That's very interesting. Now, my other question for you is that, so just so you know, something that you guys might not know about me is that I actually joined the gym before this whole thing started. So I was like a member of my gym.
Wow, really?
Smithfield. Yeah. I was only a member for like 3 weeks before this all happened. but so yeah. Yeah, so that's just the universe telling me.
Wait. Have you been keeping up? They're doing virtual workouts though. You've been keeping up with that?
Fitness? No, I haven't.
Mike.
I haven't gone. I will say though, I haven't
Pizza
gone
on Tuesdays.
I've been going to work every day though, so that's kind of been like my my replacement for like my workout, But I want to ask you, do you have any like thoughts or opinions on like food that you eat before or after a workout? Because I know they have all these kinds of like protein shakes and shakes that you take after your workouts. Do you think that is that something worth doing, or is that effective at all? Do you think?
Yeah, 1000%. I get a lot of this information from a buddy of mine, John Moray. He is a local trainer out of Providence. He operates out of CrossFit Providence. They have a separate section in their gym that they made into like a personal training studio. It's pretty cool. They call it the Strength Dojo. It's pretty sick.
That is cool.
I get a lot of nutritional information from him. When you look at him, you'd understand why I would ask him. He is always a big advocate of how you program your workouts, program your nutrition the same way. So, you want to have, healthy meals, but also balanced. A lot of times before or after a workout, it's good to have some type of light carbohydrate.
Right.
So for me, I was using Herbalife product, and I recently started like selling it to learn more about it. I've used easier things, rice cakes, but you want to have some type of carbohydrate before or even after, just to maintain some blood sugar levels.
Right.
But it also, people get freaked out about carbs. It's good to have that stuff before and after a workout because you're going to use it, and then it helps restore as well.
That's interesting because
yeah,
I mean I've heard people talk about that before, but I just wasn't like sure myself. I mean, obviously you hear about like protein, and to the point of the fact that like it's redundant. So I've heard people say that. About carbohydrates being important, but it's good to hear you say that. That's very interesting. So I didn't know whether what would be better, eating it before or after, but definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, you don't want to, eat something and then go right into a workout. Maybe between 15 to 20 minutes before would be fairly ideal, especially in nothing heavy,
Right.
You can't have a donut before you work out.
Or celebrate Memorial Day, drink all day, and then go play basketball. And then, like I did, I don't want to do that.
Did you do that, Mike?
Experience?
Yeah. Oh, yes, that was.
Were you hitting all your shots?
2 years ago. I don't know what I was drinking. Don't mix cider with tequila, though, right, Louie?
We have to mention that every time.
I'm just kidding.
Tequila doesn't mix with anything. I don't know. You guys are crazy.
Ugh, I don't like. No,
I try to stay away from that stuff,
I can't do it.
Especially tequila. That's not good for you. Not good.
So I'm under the assumption like your work is more like reactive work, right? Somebody gets hurt and then you kind of go in and you give them a plan. Is that correct?
So I do a mix of things. One specialty is rehab and one specialty is strength conditioning, which is more on the fitness aspect of stuff. So yeah, I guess as far as being a little more reactive, that's probably more the people that would come to me because they're injured. But from the more fitness perspective, you came to me looking for a trainer. What I use for rehab is going to influence how I program workouts. To use Mike's term from earlier, prehab, right? If I'm doing a good job on the fitness side of things, using my rehab knowledge, hopefully you don't get hurt.
Right.
And you can just continue to train. But those two worlds kind of mesh together, which I think is why I went rehab first, but why I'm trying to still keep the fitness model involved. Because hopefully we're not just being reactive. Hopefully we're, decreasing risk of injuries. Even when you're seeing me for physical therapy, hopefully you don't have to come back. There are some people that come back every single month. My back hurts, my back hurts, my back hurts. So hopefully we're giving you some strategies that'll help you long term.
Right. So are your majority of your clients more athletes, or are they older people? Or are they some like jabronis like me that injure themselves at the gym? Because that's kind of
jabronis. That's from Wedding Crashers, right? Did you watch that movie?
Actually, no, I've never seen that one. Oh, Wedding Crashers. Yes. Sorry. He said Morning Crashers.
Okay.
He said Morning Crashers. I'm like, what's Morning Crashers?
If you haven't seen Wedding Crashers, we were ending the call. You got to go watch that movie.
Of course. You guys have you? All right. Let's wait. Let's go on. Have you ever crashed one?
Sorry.
Have you ever crashed a wedding?
No.
I haven't either. No.
I have once.
Really?
That was amazing. Yeah, it was awesome.
Was it the same Memorial Day weekend as before?
No, I wish. That would have been epic.
That
would have been epic.
Louie,
Sorry, Louie.
I forgot your question.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, what was the majority of your clients? Are they more like people that are athletes or older people who are like idiots like me that don't know how to lift at the gym?
It's a solid 50-50 mix. Yep. I have a few younger kids, teenagers that are on the more athletic population, still playing a sport or still trying to play a sport. And then I have a fair amount of clients that are just general fitness or, if they're coming to me for rehab, they're not looking to get back to playing a sport. They just, don't want to feel like trash. So yeah, pretty even split, 50-50, I'd say.
Do you have any personal exercises that you're doing right now to stay active? I mean, I know we can't actually physically jump in a gym. It's frowned upon right now for the time being. But I mean, is it something that you're doing that you would recommend to other people, or maybe even your clients, that as a general rule or general practice that they should be doing right now to stay active? What would be your go-to?
Move daily. That'd probably be the go-to. At this point, like you said, we can't go to a gym, so it's honestly not going to matter. If you're on the couch for as long as you were at a work day, even if you spent half an hour going for a walk, it's going to be beneficial. My go-to right now has been walks. I generally I do some of my best thinking when I'm just walking, especially days like this morning. It was beautiful out.
Yeah.
It was good just to get up, have my coffee, go for a little walk, just kind of, enjoy the outdoors. Trying to do more of that, stuff
Right.
that we can't do when we go back to normal and our
Right.
time is a little more constrained again. Just kind of being a little more present, just enjoying the extended vacation we've been given. But yeah, just move daily, whether it's a structured workout program, whether it's a 5-minute free home workout that you found online, or it's going for long walks. My friend is a big meditation and like yoga coach, and so he uses a lot of that stuff in his daily practice. Yeah, so just moving daily. That's probably the goal.
What is to you? Because I feel like when it comes to fitness, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to a lot of things, it's there isn't one right answer. Everyone has a different need. There's different answers. Like for me, I fast all day. I work out. I've been working out a lot more recently, but like maybe my workouts maybe 2-3 times a week, high intensity. That was it. What is to you? What is too much? Like is too much working out every single day? Do you feel like there should be rest? I feel like we should rest our body. I feel like rest is way more important. But for some people, like for example, if Keith might be able to work out every single day, be healthy, be fine, and then me be like, well, I want to make sure I'm super healthy. I'm going to take a couple of days. So like, what's your philosophy with that?
Everything should have a purpose. So if you can work out every single day, chances are you didn't push it as hard as you could the previous session. So to agree with you, Mike, you should have rest days, but it's because you earned them.
Yeah.
You should feel tired. Should your body feel so sore that you're in pain? No, maybe that will happen because you're pushing yourself from time to time. But everything should have a purpose. So my rest days are when I do those walks. There's a term that I use a lot, which is active recovery, which is, something a little low load, something less strenuous on the body, something that's probably, more enjoyable and easier to get done, like a walk or a hike or a small run or playing a sport, something to offset your training schedule, basically. But everything should have a schedule. So I don't know if there's too much. I think you should be doing something every day to stay moving, even when the gyms are back open and we're not stuck at home. But your training sessions should be making you earn your rest days for sure. So I get in about 4 or 5 days of structured training, and then I have a day or two where I just kind of do whatever. I get my best work in on the weekend. So my first day of training is today. And then tomorrow is day 2, Monday's day 3. Usually after a couple days in a row like that, I'll take a day off.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. What was you saying? Sorry.
Everything kind of shifts. I might not be able to do 3 or 4 days of training if I was able to load it the way I usually would.
Absolutely. My last question regarding just fitness and overall working out was, do you experiment with a lot of barefoot training? Like martial arts, like we used to do, like I felt that has benefited me so much in terms of like if I do hurt my foot, if I do hurt my ankle for something, it's recovered, right? It's fast. Stronger structure down. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like your barefoot training and all that stuff.
I think everything has a little bit of context. It's not something that I use as like a go-to. But yeah, sometimes, people have, different sneakers and stuff with like those huge heels and they end up, being more. So, sometimes I may say, pop your sneakers off. Let's see if this looks just as good without your additional support.
Right.
And for a lot of times for like ankle injuries, I'll incorporate some barefoot training for sure, or people in their socks so they feel more comfortable. The ability to feel the ground and put force in the ground, whether you're running or jumping or trying to lift a lot of weight, definitely important from a sensory perspective. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's something that can be beneficial for sure.
All right. Guys, got anything?
Yeah, I got something. This is my last question. I'm going to piggyback off of what you guys were just talking about in regards to rest days. So obviously, like I mentioned earlier, like before all this happened, I joined the gym, and my first time at the gym, obviously I got really sore because
You're the warrior.
I got sore. So my question has to do with like soreness and how many days should you give before like going back to workout, or should you just have like a day where like say you work out, you're sore the next day? Should you wait a day and where you're still a little bit sore to go back to workout, or should you wait for that soreness to be completely gone before you start resuming like your normal training regimen?
Yeah, so let's talk, perfect world scenarios where the gym is open and we can kind of do, what we want.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably always going to feel a little sore if you're trying to stay consistent throughout the week. A lot of answering your question would have to do with the client at that point, because everyone has different goals. There's some people who don't want to work out 5 days a week. They want to work out 2. There's some people that only want to work out 3. Am I trying to encourage maybe some more movement-based days? Yeah, definitely. But a lot of that is probably going to go down to how you're programmed. So I program total body all the time to use the principle of balancing, like pushing and pulling is kind of what it's referred to. So there's always a lower body exercise. There's always an upper body exercise. So hopefully we're not feeling so sore where we can continue to accumulate, we can continue to train. But soreness levels usually have to do with where you are in your training cycle. So I have programs like right now where everything's pretty high rep and a little lower weight. That's right now because I have to, but then I have months where most of the workouts are pretty heavy. And if you're, all the way back to the beginning of our conversation, if you're doing a good movement prep, you're getting your body in the right frame of mind to work out, you're hitting your sessions hard, you're doing some active recovery, things like foam rolling can work. All that stuff is going to play a role, so hopefully you aren't feeling so banged up that you can't just kind of continue. But, to have a rest day here and there is not a bad thing.
Awesome. All right. Well, that was very informative. Thank you.
No problem.
I've got you on the hook for a couple of questions, if you don't mind. Nothing crazy. So what are you? All right. So I used to do this, because me and Mike would play basketball on Monday nights. But what I would do is I would work out. I'd do chest and tris. I'd do like a full chest and tri workout. And on Monday, I would kill myself. I'd probably go for almost 2 hours, and then at night I would go play basketball. And let me tell you, that Tuesday morning, man, I probably got whacked with like 10 baseball bats. What is your thought on something like that? Do you think that's stupid, or do you think that can be beneficial?
So I think that you are definitely in line with a lot of the clients I work with. Most of the time, my programming or my use as a coach is usually helping people break out those guidelines. Your basketball should probably on a day that you didn't just weight train. And then depending on what coach you're talking to, I probably wouldn't do chest and tris as like a workout. It would probably be like squat and chest and, some tricep or bicep tossed in there. But yeah, I would definitely kind of make your sessions more efficient, maybe an hour or so. And I mean, you could play some basketball afterwards. It's not going to be a terrible idea. But to keep yourself moving each day, basketball might be better served on a different day. But I mean, that's kind of where it's always kind of like a gray area is, I worked out in the morning, maybe at night, I just want to stay active a little bit. I don't want to watch a couple hours of TV. So I play some basketball. You'll be fine. You'll be good.
All right, and that's good. And my second question is, what is your advice for people in PT school? Like, what were some of the trial and tribulations you kind of went through, or difficulties that you went through, and maybe some advice you could give them?
Own your basics. I think that, for the type of school I went to, well, too, because you went there, those semesters, they fly, man. So sometimes you forget to really study up on your basics. In the world of rehab or fitness, know your muscles, know your actions, know what their purpose is. But you should really look into the people that study and own biomechanics. So I learned a lot of stuff from a buddy of mine. His name is Nick Bruno. He owns Academy Physical Therapy where I work. And he does a great job looking at not just here's your glute and here's what it does. He looks a lot at how that might influence how some movement options might influence our pain, or maybe how we could be kind of using biomechanics a little better to better leverage and get stronger that way. But so as far as advice, own your basics and never stop studying in school, because those boards that you have to take for your license are pretty intense. More so for PTs.
All right. Yeah, I had a couple of quick questions. In terms of now just overall life and health, what's your thoughts on massage and getting massages, going to the chiropractor just for maintenance? Is that overrated? Is that underrated? I mean, I've added that to my routine. I've noticed a difference. I just do it for the benefits. Do you find that to be a little overrated, or do you find that no, this is something everyone should do, no matter what kind of body type and what kind of workout you do?
Sure. I think that those are similar to the foam rolling, where they are those types of modalities, and hopefully you don't have to feel like you need to rely on them if it's just part of your routine, because you just want it as part of your routine. Like, I know people that they get massages, and most of the time it's not because they're sore, they're just stressed. So that's just one way to help. So I think that, from a workout perspective, hopefully you don't have to feel like you're relying on them. But overrated or underrated, I think that they should be utilized. I know a lot of great chiropractors. I know a couple good massage therapists, and they're really good at their jobs, and you're going to leave there feeling better than when you walked in.
Oh yeah.
It would just be the frequency. Hopefully you don't feel like you need to go every day.
I guess my mindset was more of just maintenance. Like, this is gonna help no matter what. Like, it's why not add it to my life? It's gonna benefit me a little bit.
It's definitely not gonna hurt. No, they're definitely good tools to have in the toolbox for general health.
Definitely. Last question to you was, in your group, just a little turn. I noticed a lot of meditation. Have you been big in meditation, like for a while? Is this something recent, or have you always practiced meditation?
Yeah, so meditation is something I used to do more when I was training martial arts. I used those apps like Headspace, stuff like that.
Yep.
But my friend, so Zack Beckwith is who created the program that you're doing with me. And he has a little more background in meditation and relaxation techniques, yoga exercises, especially, this was created right now because we are stuck at home. And so, people are getting stressed, they're a little more anxious. And, there's different levels of depression going on for some people. So I wanted to have him include his expertise on that, because I think that can play a pretty big role in circumstances like this, where we need to work out, we need to stay active, we need to feel healthy, but we have different stress hormones in our body that need to be managed at a time like this.
Absolutely.
So, he would probably be better to ask about some of those effects of meditation aside from just the de-stress. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's something I've tried because it's part of the program we put together. It kind of ties in with the name Mindful Muscles.
Absolutely.
And it's absolutely beneficial, especially if you have kids right now. Those parents must be
even me not having kids and having a sister, it's like sometimes I just have to, I have to just sit and reset. I'm only kidding, but no, I always find it to be like a great restart.
You just 10. Sit and listen to her. It's just, and I know your sister. She can talk.
Oh, yes, she can.
She needs to meditate. Believe me, he meditates all the time because of it. He's got to.
Yeah. But no, I do think it's. I've gotten some great feedback from the people that are doing our program right now that have mentioned, like kind of looking forward to some of the meditation stuff after the workout.
That's been my biggest thing. Like I did a couple of them, and it was excellent. Like I feel like too. It's different than sitting and listening to like that's what I always do is YouTube. I'll go on YouTube. There's thousands and thousands of kinds of meditation tracks, but hearing it from an actual and seeing a person do it and hearing it, it's kind of a little different effect. It's like this. I don't know. It makes it more real, I guess, than listening to an audio track. It's like it's definitely more relaxing, more real. That's just all I can say.
Yeah, and I liked his approach to it too. Regardless of your spiritual beliefs or anything like that, the guidance he's giving in meditation is more so just to keep our head kind of clear, so we're not going as stir crazy as some of us may be going.
Absolutely.
Open-ended question for all of you guys. Do you guys all meditate, or? I don't. For me personally, I feel like I don't have the mental fortitude to do it. Maybe I could try the guided one, maybe that. But I feel like doing it sitting there, I don't know if I could actually just sit there and just focus on my breathing for like 10 minutes. I would just, I don't know, I'd snap out of it.
The guided ones are definitely a little easier to follow. They keep your mind a little more focused for sure. Yeah, sometimes you'll sit and try and meditate, no guide, and just, whatever thought comes into your head ends up being what you're meditating about.
That's right. That's what I do. Yeah, I have ADHD, I'm sitting there with my eyes closed and then, start thinking, oh, what am I having for lunch or supper after this? It's hard to focus, So I'm in the same boat as you, Louie, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Eric's watching on that iPad. We don't know.
Who knows what Eric's watching? I meditate. I've gotten into it big over the past 6 months. I try to at least once a day I do it. Sometimes it's a little bit more. Sometimes I'll take just a meditative nap and just listen to a little just breathing practice. Take a little nap, 20 minutes to it. I also find too some tasks like for me mowing the lawn. Literally, I know it sounds goofy, but sitting on the lawnmower and just going up and down, it's meditative to me. Or even washing the dishes. It's you just go into a little I don't know, maybe trance. I don't know. There's things you can do to be in a meditative state.
That's exactly why I've been walking every day. That's my meditation right there.
Sorry, I heard some outside chatter from outside the room. There's other great ways to get into a meditative state, if you know what I mean.
It was just April 20th, so.
No, I didn't mean that. No, not that.
Okay.
No, different. Think of Eric. Think of Eric.
Man.
No. Anyway,
for you guys, actually.
What was that?
I have a question for you guys, actually.
Let's do it.
Let's hear it.
What made you start the podcast?
Critical. Louie came up with the idea.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
I mean, we were tossed around this idea about starting this podcast for a while. I mean, Louie came up with it, but then we were just doing our daily routine or whatever, and months went by or whatever, and then actually I think we were up in the car. We were driving Mike up to your for your birthday up to Boston. On the way back, we're just man, I'm really serious about doing this podcast. And then there was we just all got into it. It's all right, let's do it. And then Mike, I think came up because we spent Saturday up there, came back Sunday. And like the next Monday or Tuesday, Mike was just like, all right, I ordered my stuff. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to order my stuff. Here we go. And then it's took off from there.
That's pretty cool.
We used to BS a lot, and we play Xbox a lot, so we used to BS a lot in the Xbox live parties, and we just talk a lot about sports. And you know what? I think we could just like shoot the shit with this stuff. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's all credit to, I never thought of it until he came out with it and said it. I love it now. I look forward to doing this. It's like it's scheduled.
Yeah.
The days we do it, I love it. And people are gonna listen no matter what you're talking about.
That's right.
There are listeners. People will listen to Stinkin' you talk about what's better, Chips Ahoy or Oreos for 50 minutes. It's like people will listen.
And there's no debate, by the way. It's Oreo.
Oh, of course. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm an Oreo guy myself. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No debate. People will listen to. Not that they'll listen to anything, but there's listeners for everything you're doing. Our goal is to try to do sports. Like sports is going to be our big thing. Music. Obviously, there's no sports going on right now, but we also want to branch off and do stuff like this too, like talk about health, because that's we each have something else that we like to offer. For me, it's more music, health. For Keith, it's it's NFL. We each have something else to talk about, so that's why.
So, last question for you. I'll let you guys weigh in on this. How do you feel about Tom Brady?
Oh man, we just had a whole podcast about this yesterday.
I'll tune in. I'll get your thoughts on that.
So basically, I'll just give you the condensed version. Is that I am sad to see him go. Obviously, I really wish that he could have finished out his career here in New England.
Yeah.
I can never hate the guy for leaving. I understand he probably wanted to leave because he wanted to get paid more. He's probably close to retiring. I'd say within the next, if not this season, then maybe next season. And he wants to go out with a big paycheck. That's how I see it. And he wasn't going to get it here, especially not after his performance this past season. He looks like he's getting to the edge of the cliff. He hasn't gone off it yet, but the last season was as close as he's been to be in there. But I can't hate the guy for leaving. He gave us 6 Super Bowls, but I am disappointed to see him go.
Yeah, happiness is a weird thing. I think a lot of times people think about it, and most of the time happiness is just from taking some type of action towards like your real goals, and that's why you feel happy. So I think he probably feels happier knowing he's getting paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
What could be one of his last seasons.
Absolutely. I don't know what you guys think, Mike or Louie, but that's how I feel. Mike said he was salty. Mike said he was salty.
I was a little upset at first, and then I kind of went through phases. I was upset, I was a little disappointed, and then I just kind of accepted the fact. I feel like that last season there was a lot of friction too.
Oh yeah.
We were also talking about the Gronkowski thing as well. That was kind of interesting.
That aggravated me more than Brady leaving.
Yeah, you could talk to Mike about that. Mike was a little upset about that.
I'm salty about Gronk.
I could I saw the writing on the wall with Brady. I really did. Before he got signed, before he came out and said he wasn't coming back, I was like, maybe there's a chance. You're not hearing a lot of suitors for him. But then when he signed, it kind of hit you. It's like, even though like I was prepared, like he's probably not coming back, or he's gonna retire. And then when you find when it hits you that he's not coming back, it was kind of tough. Mm-hmm. But I'm more excited for this upcoming year than I've been in. Not that you can get bored with winning, but it's interesting now. Like it's been 20 years and you never go in. Like the last time I was this interested into the season, like I said it last night, was when Garoppolo was going to start those 4 games.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like to see the next guy like come in, like this is cool. Yep. And I'm excited to see how Belichick does. In terms of Gronk, back to Brady, I think it's better that it happened now instead of going another 2 years, 3 years. But yeah. I feel like if Belichick offered him a contract, he'd be back here. That's my thought. I don't think he wanted to go to Tampa either. I think Tampa was just the only other team that wanted him. He wanted to go to San Francisco. They didn't want him. They wanted to see what they could get for Garoppolo, and that didn't happen. I think if Belichick gave him an offer and appreciated him, then I think he'd be back here on anything. To Gronk, I think Gronk quit on us. Gronk didn't want to play for Belichick. And even if Brady came back here last year, he wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
But it all brings up to the point, Belichick this plan a few years ago when he drafted Garoppolo. He had a couple of years ago, he had that Gronk trade ready to go to get a first-round pick for him. Belichick has been he took in Brandon Cooks, that he was young at the time when he got here. That was a Garoppolo guy. It wasn't for Brady. And I think he had the whole plan in place. And when Kraft came in and said, you're not getting rid of it. You got to trade Jimmy now. That kind of set everything off. And I think Kraft now at the end of the day, though, they still won. They made it to 2 Super Bowls after that. So it went either way. I don't think that was a wrong choice in anything. But I think if Belichick had his way, I think Brady would have been gone a couple of years ago. Gronk would have been gone a couple of years ago. But Gronk definitely quit. And I think even if Brady was here, Gronk wouldn't have been coming back to here. He didn't want to be here. And I honestly, I don't see him playing more than 3 or 4, maybe 5 games at the top at Tampa Bay. I don't at all.
Needed a break, but I don't. I'll be interested to see how he does.
I think Brady. I think Brady's going to put up good numbers this year. I think he's going to be motivated.
Yeah. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
Do I see them all coexisting? I don't know. I think Brady's going to have his moments where he goes into the practice room or the room and he's like, "Why am I here? These guys don't work as hard as I do. Like, what is this? It's totally different." I think he's going to have those moments, but I think they'll be all right. I think the Patriots are going to be better than people think. Not that they're going to win the Super Bowl or anything, but I think it's going to be interesting. After this year, you get an answer. Yeah, I'd give him that. I think it's a tough schedule, though. Very tough. But I think you get a quarterback who's going to be more willing to work with these younger weapons. Now, obviously, you'd want Brady, but in terms of that, and I think knowing the answer to the question is not there until after the season's over. Who's the better one? Who is more important? If Belichick has the better year and Brady doesn't do well down there, then you could say it's Belichick. If they both do well, then they both coexisted together. If they don't do well, then they needed each other. Mm-hmm. So I think you got to wait to the end of the season to find out what the. There's a lot of pieces down in Tampa Bay, and a lot of guys that you need to feed down there, like that. Mike Evans is a deep threat, and you think Brady's going to want to keep throwing that deep ball all the time? These guys are going to have to change their game. I think there's a lot of tools that need to be reworked down there in order to make it work.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Definitely. But anyway, before we wrap it up, any final thoughts, guys, before we have Ray tell us more about how to contact them, his good stuff?
My final thought is just thank you. That was really informative stuff, so I appreciate you spending the time jumping on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being our guest today. Like Louie said, I learned a lot. I only joined the gym for 3 weeks, but like I said,
you had the right intentions, man.
Yeah, I had the right. It got cut short though, but like I said, thank you for coming on and joining us today. It was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot too. Thank you.
Yeah. This was my first time doing a podcast, so this was a lot of fun for me too.
Absolutely. Where can we find you? What groups do you have? Let us know.
All the shameless plugs now, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So Instagram or Facebook is probably best. Facebook is just my name, Raymond Berlinsky. Instagram is Ray Berlinsky PTA. You can slide into the DMs.
Yes.
That, ladies.
No, don't say that. No, he's getting married. Oh, no.
In 6 months, man.
No sliding into his DMs. You can slide into Keith's DMs and Louie's DMs.
Yeah. We'll send them to Keith.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then if we're in person, I operate at Academy Physical Therapy, which is in Providence, Rhode Island. And right now, while we're all home and maybe a little stir crazy, Mike is doing it right now. Myself and my friend Zack Beckwith came up with that program I was talking about earlier. It's called Mindful Muscles. It's a private Facebook group, so if you're interested, just contact me, Instagram or Facebook, and I'll tell you more how to get started. It's a free program. And mostly the focus is to try and get some experience with online personal training to maybe keep that going for the future.
Absolutely. This has been fun. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to Peter.
Peter P. Hanging out in Virginia with my dad. Jealous. Eating all the barbecue.
Oh my God.
Can't go
Must be
wrong.
hitting every. They must be hitting every time I was with them. We hit a buffet.
Yeah,
And he knew where all the buffets was. I'm like, I was here like 3 weeks ago. There was no buffet. He's like, oh yeah, it's right around the corner. He always knew where the
My
buffets
dad
were.
got their spots already planned out. You know, they know. All right, which ribs are better here. You know, where's the best Chinese food.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You got your Chick-fil-A. They got it all.
That's awesome.
That's nuts. Well, thank you again for coming on. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, maybe we can do this again some point, maybe in person, not over a video call. And again, congratulations on even though you've been engaged for a long time.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Months we'll celebrate. Can't wait to celebrate with you. So
I'm looking forward.
That is it. Yeah, that is it. Thank you for guys for listening. You can find us on Facebook, Studs Podcast. We're also on YouTube as well, Studs Podcast. And we're streaming on Spotify and a few other platforms as well, Google, Apple. Our main site is anchor.fm/studs-podcast. If you'd like to support us, if you just want to see this channel continue to grow, you can leave 99 cents. $1, whatever you want to do, definitely support us and all other podcasts as well. And one tip of advice that I heard from another podcast, because I listened to a podcast about Prince. I'm weird, but I heard on that podcast, he said, during this time, try something new, maybe start a podcast. So that's my advice to everyone: try something new, start something you've been wanting to start. That's it.
I got drums.
Anyway.
Right.
Drums and piano. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we will talk soon.
Sounds good, man. Thanks, guys.